Okay, now that you're aware of the connective potential of the Remind platform for parents who experience language and technology barriers, let's get into the details of actual setup. Before we start, if you have never created a Remind account, I do recommend you're taking a moment to do so before you continue. Remind offers this quick four-step guide to the process, and then once you've created your account, just return to this tutorial and you will be able to follow step by step and apply this tutorial directly to your newly created Remind account. This module does assume from this point on that you have created an account and that you know how to log in. So when you open your Remind account, you should see a homepage similar to this one. Before you load parent contact information into your Remind class groups, it's important to have your class name and your sender identification set up strategically. This step is a critical first piece because as soon as you enter a parent's name and phone number, Remind automatically sends an invitation to the parent to join your group. The text message invitation looks like this. Notice that a parent has to reply yes to join your class. As we discussed earlier, this is one of the powerful features of Remind that you, the teacher, can initiate through texting. But parents do have to click yes to join your group. This is where your sender identification and your class name play an important role. If the parent can realize who you are when they receive that text message, they will very likely accept your invitation. Most English learner parents that I've met are actually eager for connecting with their students' teachers. Despite language barriers, many parents know at least these three words in English: teacher, school, and class. I highly recommend that you work those three words directly into your class name and sender ID. Let's take a look at how to get that done. Again, back to your Mind home screen as it typically appears when you log in. Notice the Create Class button on the left side of your screen. Go ahead and click on that button. A dialog box like this one will appear. Let's start with the class name. I know that this will get a bit long, but I do recommend that you use the name of your school, including the actual word school, and your subject area, plus the word class. The reason for the specific school name is that many parents have students in elementary and middle and high school, so the school name helps parents understand which children this message is concerning. Additionally, parents who are extremely new to our country or to the school district are still learning the names of the schools that their children attend. Your text messages will solidify their knowledge of the school name plus how it is spelled. Again, the actual words class and school will jump out to parents as key identifiers. A couple more things to note in this particular dialog box since we're already here. Notice that you can choose to affiliate with your school if you can locate it in the drop-down box. I chose not affiliated with a school because I work with multiple buildings. Also, you'll notice the statement, I will only message people 13 or older. Years of age is automatically checked. You can leave that checked unless, of course, you do actually intend to message those younger than 13. All right, at this point, you have typed in your strategically created class name, and you can click the Create button to save what you have done. You return to the home screen when you do this, and you should see your updated class name at the top. Keep in mind that you will follow this procedure for each class that you set up. So if you teach 3 sections of US history, you might have North Central High School History Class 1, North Central High School History Class 2, North Central History Class 3. Now let's take a look at the other key identifier that will come to parents in that first automatic text message, your sender identification. Your sender ID was most likely auto-set according to whatever information you gave while setting up your Remind account. This aspect has a couple of snags to it. One of them is that your sender identification is set for all of your classes. So if you happen to be using Remind for parents of students who are not English learners, you may have to tweak this suggested process to have the most reasonable sender ID for all your recipients. To edit your sender ID, click on the icon at the top left of your Remind home screen, just to the left of where your current Remind identification appears. Clicking there will take you to this screen where you can see you have an opportunity to upload a photo of yourself, set office hours, etc. In the text box, you will see your current ID. Click in the text box to edit your sender ID. This is where the second snag comes in. Remember that I encourage you to use the actual word teacher in your identification. However, there is an 18-character limit to your sender identification. So if your last name is a bit long, you may be able to fit only your last name plus the word teacher, or you may be unable to fit both altogether. Quite a few of you, though, may be able to fit your title plus the last name plus the word teacher. There's really no save button in this section. Just type the name you want for your sender ID and click the back arrow in the top left corner of your screen to return to the Remind homepage. Once back on your Remind homepage, you should notice your updated sender identification in the top left. There's one more change I recommend making to your settings at this point. Click on the Settings button at the top right. When you do that, this dialog box pops up. Remind actually automatically allows people in your group to see and message each other. I can imagine some parents preferring not to be visible to other parents, so I recommend unchecking that box and clicking Save. You will have to do this for each class that you have. Once your class names and sender identification are set, you are ready to load parents' names and contact information into your classes. Before moving on to that stage, I highly recommend taking a minute to improve your learning and set up your own classes up to this point in the process.